rainbow. Get serious right now. Is there actually something good about being uncomfortable? Well, I heard it said so in many sources, like Reverend Jean. Reverend Jean just read that being uncomfortable is good for you. Not like eating spinach, but it's because we must be uncomfortable in order to grow and to learn. For example, if you want to become stronger physically, you must lift weights that are really heavy. If you want to improve your writing skills, then you should write more often rather than sit at home all day watching your favorite TV shows. Well, let's see. What about moderation? Let's see what Oscar Wilde has to say about moderation. Moderation in all things, including moderation. So now that we've got that thing out of the way, let's turn to the U.S. Navy SEALs. And they have a saying that they say all the time, which is get comfortable being uncomfortable as a way to help team members grow and achieve the impossible. She said, I went to the pain clinic and now I hurt even more. And he says, well, duh, don't you think you should have gone to a pain relief clinic? If we are experiencing physical discomfort, says Ernest Holmes, we attribute it to the weather, to long hours of work, to inherited tendencies, to certain diseases, to anything rather than to the idea that we entertained. And he goes on to say, we are not so cold-blooded as to say to a person with pain that there is no such thing as pain. That's not our idea or purpose. We admit the fact, but we say, don't confuse me with the facts. The truth of the matter is, I am born to make manifest the God within me. Science of Mind, page 213.3. So, what can we do to help us relook at uncomfortability differently? Well, we can reframe it. I can put a new frame on it. Yes, we can. We can reframe it as something positive. People who embrace this level of discomfort do better even during the biggest challenges, and they're more likely to take creative risks that can be an aid in problem solving and finding meaning, according to research. So those who have learned to embrace discomfort also felt a greater sense of achievement when the experience was over. And in the end, that discomfort turns into really good feelings of achievement, satisfaction, and resilient. Now, what's the difference between being uncomfortable and being scared? What's the difference? Being uncomfortable means that you're in a situation where things are unfamiliar, outside the norm, and unpredictable. In contrast, being scared implies fear or anxiety about something dangerous that's happening to yourself or others. So you can be uncomfortable without being scared. Being uncomfortable is a normal and healthy part of life that can't be avoided. So when we're faced with something new or different, most people experience some degree of discomfort at first, but they usually adapt to the situation after getting used to it. The key is knowledge and practice. So gaining familiarity with any new situation, if on the other hand, you can't do it, well, then that's when research has to come in. So how do we get comfortable with being uncomfortable? The first step is recognizing the things that trigger you or make you uncomfortable. This will enable you to identify with what types of experiences to seek out and know these triggers so that you can research them and research how to handle them, to recognize them, to recognize those things. So we need to take risks when we are being uncomfortable and try new things, like try a new food, for example, that you've never eaten before, or a new activity. And as you experience it, it becomes familiar. And so, therefore, it isn't as uncomfortable as it was before. One of the ways we do this is we tell stories. Ever since we've been little kids, we hear stories about people who, in uncomfortable situations, really get through them, and they're heroes and heroines. Even with our family relatives and our ancestry, we hear stories. So this month is Black History Month, and I came across a story about somebody I've really looked up to in a long time, and she is called the Black Moses. Once upon a time in the early 1800s, there lived a remarkable woman, and her name was Harriet Tubman. Born into slavery on a plantation in Maryland, she experienced the harsh realities and dehumanizing conditions that enslaved individuals did daily. She witnessed the cruelty of slavery firsthand. She saw families absolutely torn apart. She heard the cries of pain and sorrow. She felt the heavy weight of oppression on her own spirit. And these experiences, though incredibly uncomfortable and painful, awakened an absolutely fierce determination in Harriet Tubman to seek freedom. The discomfort of her situation fueled her courage and her resilience, pushing her to take action. One night, Harriet made her daring escape, leaving everything she had ever known, fueled by her unwavering faith in freedom. She encountered countless obstacles and faced constant danger. She hid during the day, relying on the kindness of the people in the underground network to feed her and provide her with shelter. And through discomfort, though it plagued her every step, she pressed on, her determination never faltering. And after months, that's months of perilous travel and close encounters with slave hunters, Harriet finally reached the free state of Pennsylvania. But instead of settling into a life of freedom and comfort, she chose to dedicate herself to helping others escape the bonds of slavery. She became a fearless conductor on the Underground Railroad, leading numerous individuals to freedom. With every journey she undertook, she saw that discomfort and longing for liberation in the eyes of the people that she was rescuing. Their stories and struggles only fueled her resolve to continue her mission. And it teaches us that it's often in our most uncomfortable and challenging moments that we find the strength to create change. The discomfort she experienced as an enslaved person propelled her to seek freedom, and in doing so, she helped pave the way for liberation of countless others. Her remarkable journey reminds us of the power of resilience, determination, and the pursuit of a better tomorrow. Yay, Harriet. And then there's one other story I want to share with you, not only because I love fried chicken, but because it's a fabulous story. It's the story of, you know who I mean, Colonel Sanders. He said, I made a resolve then that I was going to amount to something if I could, and no hours nor amount of labor nor amount of money would deter me from giving the best that there was in me. And I have done that ever since. And I win by it. I know. The true account of Harlan Sanders, the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, is an inspiring and motivational story of success despite his many rejections. He was born in Indiana in 1890 and worked a variety of odd jobs to support his siblings after his parents died. At 40 years old, he began cooking and selling fried chicken out of a gas station in Corbin, Kentucky in the 1930s. He developed his own blend of 11 herbs and spices, and after that, his business grew steadily over the next few decades, leading to the creation of the KFC franchise. So it shows us that perseverance and determination, even in the face of numerous setbacks and obstacles, he went on and he carried on, just like Harriet Tubman. So today, this moment, we're going to talk about coaching. Yes, coaching. We're going to be our own spiritual life coaches. We're going to be coaches to ourselves. We're going to be our emotional life coaches. And there are some things we can do to coach ourselves in our experiences every day. In fact, there are 6 S's that I want to share with you that we can coach ourselves to get through as victorious. The first one is called self-talk. Have you ever heard of it? Where we challenge negative thoughts and replace them with positive affirmations like, you go, girl, you can do this, you know how to handle this. We can coach ourselves through it. We can remind ourselves of our strengths and our capabilities. In fact, stop complaining to yourself and stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own personal growth. Oh, yes. The second S is we can seek support. We can talk to a trusted friend, a family member, or therapist about our feelings. We can talk to a practitioner. We can talk to a reverend like Reverend Jean about our feelings. Sharing your thoughts and emotions can provide relief and perspective. In fact, stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own personal growth. The next S we can explore is called self-discipline. We've heard of that. Overcoming discomfort often requires discipline and perseverance. It involves setting goals, creating routines, and taking consistent action, even when it feels uncomfortable and difficult. Yes, stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own personal growth. Where have we heard of that before? The next S is self-awareness. Self-awareness. What an idea. Discomfort prompts individuals to reflect on their thoughts, their emotions, their behaviors. It brings awareness to areas of weakness or areas in need of improvement, fostering self discovery and introspection. Yes, stop comparing yourself to others and focus on your own personal growth. And the last S is self esteem. Yep, I never met a baby with bad self esteem. So I want to ask you, how did you show yourself love today? Please think of anything you did today for yourself. Did you brush your teeth? Did you make coffee or tea? Did you drink a glass of water? Did you take a shower? Did you get dressed? And see if you can feel it as an act of love towards yourself. Yes, summarizing all of this, discomfort serves as a powerful catalyst for personal growth, offering valuable lessons that shape individuals into stronger, more resilient, and empathetic human beings. By embracing discomfort and learning from its challenges, individuals can unlock their full potential and lead more fulfilling lives so that we can do as Ernest Holmes has told us. I am born to make manifest the God within me. I am born to make manifest the God within me. In fact, when we listen to stories and read stories, we see people experiencing what we're experiencing, and we learn from how they deal with these things. In scriptures, in Romans 12:2, it says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what it is that is good, acceptable, and perfect. What is good and acceptable in the will of God. And let me tell you what Rumi says. I love to quote Rumi. He's talking to his soul. He says, don't run away from grief, O soul. Look for the remedy inside the pain, because the rose came from the thorn and the ruby came from a stone. I'd like to share with you now one of my favorite poems. It's called The Oyster. There once was an oyster whose story I tell, who found that sand had got under his shell. Just one little grain, but it gave him much pain, for oysters have feelings, although they're so plain. Now did he berate the working of fate, which had led him to such a deplorable state? Did he curse the government and get a sore throat? Did he call an election or call for a vote? No. As he lay on the shelf, he said to himself, if I cannot remove it, I'll try to improve it. So the years rolled by as the years always do, and he came to his ultimate destiny, stew. And this small grain of sand, which had bothered him so, was a beautiful pearl, all richly aglow. Now, this tale has a moral, for isn't it grand what an oyster can do with a morsel of sand? What couldn't we do if we'd only begin with all of the things that get under our skin? Won't you join me for treatment? What a beautiful thing it is to acknowledge that all of God is here, right now. That as only my life is a total expression of God. All of our lives are individualizations of God. Our physical life, our mental life, our spiritual life, and our emotional life. All of these lives are perfect. All of these lives are whole. All of these lives are complete as they manifest the perfection of God in all aspects of our existence. We embody limitless prosperity because we are expressions of God. We manifest peace and beauty in all of our relationships. We deal with uncomfortability magnificently. We recognize our triggers and we deal with how to handle them and coach ourselves so positively, so encouragingly. Life is so good for us in all of our relationships. We have harmony and love and empathy and compassion. All of our experiences are filled with our allies, for the world is our ally in every aspect of our life. This is true also for the Austin Center of Spiritual Living, for we and the Austin Center for Spiritual Living are perfect manifestation of God. We are fabulous. We are whole. We are perfect. We are complete. I am so grateful to reveal these truths about all of us as I release these words into my dear, dear partner, the universal law, which embodies and incorporates these words and instantaneously manifests them, even as I am now speaking. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen.